We should be live. I'll let you know when the link is in.
And do we have any, let's see, other board members?
Should be live. I'll let you know when the link is in. YouTube, okay. Hold on, let me put it in and I'll let you know. Okay, the link is in, and I don't see any other board members, so let me start texting. And if anyone is watching on YouTube, we're gonna give it another minute as board members join. Okay, I sent a few messages out. Just waiting for some board members to join, or Chairperson Darius Ledger, if you want to go ahead and get started, that's also up to you.
Okay.
Since we see.
Oh, I see board member Tatum just joined.
Oh, okay, perfect. Oh, and I see board member Wilson as well.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late.
No worries.
All right, and we are going to get started. So good evening, everyone. Today is February 25th, 2026, and I am Vice Chair for the Hartford Board of Education, and this is the Teaching and Learning Committee meeting, and I chair this committee, and I believe that we are going to get started. So our first item on the agenda is Domus Kids Inc. Incorporated, and I will pass it on to Joanne Tremblay Jackson.
Good afternoon or evening to everybody. Welcome. And Domus Kids is the contracted agency that runs the school at Hartford Juvenile Detention Center for us. And every year we receive some funding where we are basically the pass-through for them because the federal government sets aside some money to assist with educational equity for children involved in juvenile justice. And then this money, the federal money that comes to appropriated to the state, is then divided between the two educational entities in the state that do this work, one being in Bridgeport and the other one in Hartford. In Hartford, we have a subcontract with Domus. We have had this contract for a number of years, and every year the amount varies depending on what the federal government sends to the state. So this year, the amount that was allocated was $78,550 to enhance services at Domus. But the money comes to us because they're our subcontractor, and then we have to therefore turn around and give them the money. I work with them to figure out what the money should be used for. There are strict stipulations as to what the money can be used for. Basically for technology upgrades, for assistance with like headsets, for assistance with educational prerogatives such as positive behavior in the schools. They do a lot with career development and bringing in individuals to promote career and future thinking for the young people. So as you see here, we've been subcontracting with them since 2018. They provide all of the teachers for the programming, including a special education teacher and a social worker. Right, they arrive, all the students that go to Domus come through the court system. We have nothing to do with who ends up at Hartford Juvenile Detention Center. That is done through the court. They might be there for a few days or up to a few months. There is one unit that is considered a regional locked unit, and then all the other units are short-term units. Each district then is billed by Domus to pay the fee for their respective students, regional educational districts, for the respective students that are in Hartford Juvenile Detention Center. And they can only bill what's allowed by statute. Any questions for me?
I'm looking to see if there are any hands up. Yes, Board Member Tatum, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just a quick question as to why Hartford Public Schools is the pass-through. Is it because the facility is located in Hartford, or is there some other reason?
Yes, because Hartford Juvenile Detention Center is located in Hartford, and we're the public school system for Hartford, and any educational activities there are our responsibility. And we subcontracted back in 2018. And prior to that, we had subcontracted with CREC. But since 2018, we've been subcontracting with Domus Kids. They were originally out of Stanford. They do the sanctuary model. So they're very accepting of youth, and they run the program for us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I see Board Member Wilson has his hand up, but I have one quick question before I hand it over to him. So just to be clear, these students don't have to be from Hartford or residing in Hartford, but because they're housed at the Juvenile Detention Center that is located in Hartford, they automatically become Hartford Public School students. Is that correct?
In a way, all right, let me try and clarify that. They're our responsibility to educate while they're there. So we have to run the school at detention. However, and we do it through Domus. However, we then, the sending school district has no say in whether the student is with us or Bridgeport. That is done through the court system. And then when a young person arrives at the detention center, the Domus staff contact the district, the educational district that the student came from, And then records must be sent within 24 hours by statute. And so I do that for us here in Hartford. I make sure that they have records on our students when our students are there. But then I also have the oversight of the program as a whole, because they're our school. And they then turn around and also bill the respective district for the daily rate that's allowed by statute for their student that is in the Hartford Detention Center school. So their records and the responsibility to keep track of them from an IEP point of view or a 504 point of view, or to immediately reaccept them into their school, remains with the school district that they came from.
Thank you. And a follow-up question. Have you had any issues with the reimbursement process?
There's a district that will give them a hard time, and then they'll call me. They have a form letter that they send right with the statute in it, explaining that they're responsible. Occasionally when we have difficulty, it's because a young person might have decided to disengage from school and they're questioning whether the student actually resided still in their district, etc.
Thank you. And Board Member Wilson, you have the floor.
My question was answered. Thank you. I guess I can ask one more. The federal funding that we are receiving, has it fluctuated over the years? Like what
Yes.
goes into account in that fluctuation, if you
I
know?
honestly do not have any clue what the federal government decides on that. I
Yeah.
can tell you that once the state receives the dollars from the federal government that's allocated, they then turn around and allocate proportionally between Bridgeport and ourselves, which are the only two detention centers for the entire state of Connecticut, depending on the use of each facility.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much and for that presentation. And is there more or?
No, I need your approval, given the amount. You need to know, the amount of money that's coming in and why it's turning around and going back out and what it's being utilized for.
And that will be going to the regular meeting on Tuesday. Not this Tuesday, the next.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
And now I'm going to go back to the agenda. And our next agenda item is the mid-year update, teaching and learning, and I will pass that on to Dr. Saki. No, I'm sorry, Dr. Ratley. I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll very quickly get it to Dr. Saki, his team, as well as Dr. Coburn and her team. I did want to go ahead and just add a note about our support and accountability plan that we are working with the state. We're holding time in the committee meeting so that we could update the board and public just about where we are with our support and accountability plans. As most of you know, we provided an update at the last Finance Committee meeting. I will say to date, we don't have additional updates. Things are still progressing well with all of the recommendations. We're continuing with our regularly scheduled meetings with members of the State Department, as well as the work that coincides with those recommendations. As Madam Vice Chair just mentioned, we are providing an update to the board and the public around mid-year programming as it pertains to secondary planning and programming, as well as pre-K and college and career readiness. So I will now turn it over to Dr. Saki to kick us off.
And thank you, Dr. Ratley. Good evening, members of the Board Teaching and Learning Committee. board members and Chair Dursto Ledger and Superintendent Townsend, thank you for the opportunity to share a brief update from the Teaching and Learning Committee. Tonight, we'll be sharing an update from our pre-K team. I will share briefly on our ML department, and we'll also get an update on our program of studies and our career clusters. Next slide, please. Like always, I'll start by reviewing our mission and vision. Our mission is to provide all students the learning and supports they need to succeed in school and in life. And our vision is for all students to graduate prepared to transform our world. I will now invite our Assistant Director of Secondary, Vanessa Cruz, to give some background and context, and then introduce Will Cheney, who has been spearheading the work on the Program of Studies document, along with our Director, Tracy Avicoli, and the secondary team. Unfortunately, Tracy can't join us tonight, but the team is here to represent her. Before Vanessa shares, just want to state that the district has always had a program of studies, so that's not new. What is new are some of the new career clusters, and Vanessa and Will are going to dive a little bit more into that. I'll say, feel free to ask questions during the presentation, but we are going to stop at certain intervals for you to be able to ask any questions that you have. I'll now have Vanessa give us some background and context for this work. Vanessa.
Thank you, Dr. Saki. Good evening, Teaching and Learning Committee board members, and thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to join you to just talk a little bit about something we're excited about for our students, and that's our program of studies. Our vision for the program of studies is to cultivate an equitable, responsive, and forward-thinking set of course offerings that really honors the diverse strengths, interests, and aspirations of every student. We are committed to providing a broad spectrum of rigorous and engaging learning experiences that open multiple pathways to success, ensuring that all our students are well prepared for their post-secondary goals, whether college, career, or both. Through intentional design, continuous reflection, and a focus on access and opportunity across all our schools, our program of studies aims to empower students to explore their passions, develop essential skills, and envision futures filled with possibility. Our three goals there really highlight what we feel makes the program of studies this year just a bit more enhanced from in the past, and that's flexibility, which will discuss in a little bit, efficiency, and access, particularly across our high schools. This is in alignment with our Portrait of a Graduate, which reflects our collective vision, informed by research and the input of multiple stakeholders, of the skills that are incumbent to our students' post-secondary success. You will see the 5 competencies highlighted here. Our Portrait of a Graduate will guide our instructional vision and our curriculum implementation efforts to ensure that all students have adequate and equitable access to instructional experiences that will help them graduate ready to pursue their goals and prepared to transform our world. This slide isn't new, but just wanted to highlight the graduation requirements for the graduating classes of 2027 and beyond. And this is exciting work led by our director, Tracy Avicoli, and Will Cheney, our CTE, Career and Technical Education Specialist. They have been instrumental in reimagining our program of studies and course offerings through career-connected learning aligned to the CTE, Career and Technical Education Framework. And with that said, I'm going to tag our CTE specialist, Will Cheney.
Will, I don't think we're getting any audio from you.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
I just ripped out all the cables and I think we're good. I'm not sure if you have access, if you all are following along the slides or just on the screen share. So I put these links that you see in the chat, and hopefully those will work for you. What I want to share today is some work that Tracy and I have been doing in collaboration with our teachers, our principals, and with the state CSDE to elevate the work that's already going on in Hartford Schools' career-connected coursework to what the country and the state are adopting in terms of what is known as the Advanced CTE framework. And that's what you see illustrated on this wheel here. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, and this will be what we reference as we move along. So on that wheel, you see the different sort of pie slices for different industries. We've taken those and organized our program of studies. These are the courses that already existed. There are a few new courses as we're always expanding programming. But I want to be clear throughout this that the Advanced CTE framework is a framework. It's not a mandate. And so we're organizing our existing courses according to these clusters. What this is allowing teachers, schools and principals and schedulers to do right now, this week, as they receive course requests, is to see the continuity between their courses. So each school under the Perkins Grant, which is sort of our baseline for career-connected learning, is expected to offer 3 distinct career clusters and 2 course sequences within each of those. So this way, a school, for example, like Buckley High School, can see that they offer several courses in education and public service. They offer several courses in digital technology. And so that's an emerging pathway already right there. A few of these clusters, which you see in the gray and the purple, are called cross-cutting clusters. So that's the career-ready practices, and then things like digital technology, entrepreneurship, business management, marketing, and sales that can be used to support any cluster. So if a student takes some technology courses, takes some business courses, but ultimately ends up pursuing healthcare, all of that is connected to their career. All of that is relevant in those cross-cutting clusters. I think we can move to the next graphic. You can see how this sort of filters up to the individual plan of study for the students. So Advanced CTE outlines career fields and then distills those into clusters. We take those clusters at the school level and identify what do we already have going on that fits into any of these clusters, and where are we really close to offering a 2-course sequence in one of those clusters. All of this does nothing but elevate the work that's already going on with our legacy pathways. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the standout pathways in engineering, allied health, insurance, education and public service, like I mentioned at Buckley. None of that is being modified by the ACTE framework. In fact, it's more like it's being recognized. And in some others, some work that maybe doesn't have that capital P pathway is able to be recognized. Ready CT continues to support those pathways where they're able, but Ready CT is not a prerequisite to being able to offer a full career pathway. And what we've noticed as we've started doing this, I'll come back to the chat with this link that you see below for sports industry. When we start defining our career pathways according to these clusters and themes rather than very defined and limited tracks, we see that they already exist in places. Sports Medical Science Academy is already offering 3 career clusters in sports medicine, sports media, and sports marketing. There's some areas where they could expand those, but we want to be recognizing and lifting those and marketing those things. Weaver High School has a new media technology pathway, which previously may not have been seen as a CTE pathway. But under the ACTE cluster, we can interpret that with digital technology skills that reinforce all clusters and communication skills that are part of that creating and experiencing cluster. We're looking at new opportunities in health services. So we recognize a need among students who go through the allied health pathway and then find that clinical experience, healthcare providership is not the where they want to end up. And what a great thing to find that out when you're 17 and not when you're, 25. So we're looking at substrands, right? Ways that somebody could go into customer service or pharmaceutical technician work. So I'm very excited about all this work because it makes it very available and very immediate that all of our schools and all of our students can participate in career-connected learning while still keeping those keystone or legacy pathways, the ones that we're really proud of and have done great work. Those continue, but we're able to provide access to more students and more buildings through this reconfiguration of the Career Connected Learning program. So I was mentioning SMSA. I guess I sort of jumped ahead here because I'm excited. We were so excited when we sat down with Matt and did this to see that, wow, they're already doing it. And it's a perfect example, and we see this in many schools. What you see in black here is courses and experiences that already exist at SMSA. And what's in blue is where Tracy and I and the team at SMSA are identifying, hey, here are some little improvements we could make to really round out this whole thing as a pathway. Again, those resources are here. I can talk about this all day, so if you'd like to get in touch, you're welcome to. I'm sorry Tracy couldn't be here today, but similarly, we'd be happy to go through any of this or to look at any specific school, any specific career field, and brainstorm what that could look like or what already exists to sort of show what already exists in that area.
Was that the last slide for this?
So, unless there's any questions.
So yes, we'll break now for questions.
Okay, thank you so much for that presentation. And I liked the way you brainstormed and ripped out all the cables and was able to get sound. One question, can you possibly give us an update on the Weaver pathway?
Yeah, absolutely. So Weaver Insurance and Finance is moving along. That's one of those legacy or keystone pathways that has that Ready CT support, is really well tied in with industry. We are beginning work on recruitment of the new business teacher because Vin Mazzata is retiring at the end of this year. And that's a very valuable individual and a difficult spot to fill. Luckily at Weaver, it's not all on Vin. We have Akila Franklin is the other business teacher who's phenomenal and has even taken on some leadership within the broader department on my side of things to serve as a lead CTE teacher among us. So I think things are in good shape. I think that's a really desirable position for somebody to come into. But there's no getting around the fact that it's a difficult position to fill. That business teaching certification is a challenging one. The media technology pathway that's emerging at Buckley is very exciting. We have a brand new media teacher there. He was a long-term sub previously, so he's familiar with the students and the school, and he's excited to get in and do project-based work on media technology. He's teaching a big slate of courses this year: Media Technology 1 and 2, Media Production 1 and 2, and Web Design and Gaming Technology and AI. So he's taking on a lot there. And I think the next steps at Weaver's media pathway are bringing in sort of the supplemental supports that we expect when we partner with Ready CT to tie in with local industry and make sure that that's just as robust as the insurance and finance pathway and those peripheral elements.
Great. Thank you so much. One quick question, because I see other board members have their hands up. Is there a possibility for students, say at other schools, to be able to take advantage of perhaps the media piece?
That's a very interesting question. And I think it's something we all recognize as immediate. The media technology curriculum are district supported and are available to schools that have the instructional like capital to be able to provide those. As far as participating like having students participate across buildings, that's sort of on a different level, but these courses are available for any school, and right now we're in that process where schools are able to publicize what courses they may offer. Students are able to select the courses that they want to offer, and where there's a lot of interest, we're able to gather that information and recognize where more buildings need this. There are other places, SMSA is a good example that we spoke about earlier, where they have maybe one video production class. And so that's a perfect example where we want to say, let's take this, you have this one thing, right? You have a teacher with an interest and a skill set. Let's build this out into at least a 2-course pathway and tie it in with some other things. So there are opportunities to expand that programming beyond Weaver. But I would say Weaver right now is best equipped with the human capital and the instructional supplies to pilot that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
I will call on Board Member Wilson only because that was that was your question, Board Member Wilson. Do you have another question, or was that why your hand was up? Okay. Where did he go? Okay. Well, I will.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
now we-
I was talking. Apologies. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you for asking my question. At the moment I couldn't speak. But I'd like to follow up because someone needs to explain to me. Weaver has been looking for a media technology teacher to teach at Weaver in conjunction with trying to flesh out their programming there. For the last, I can't count how many years, the issue has been not being able to find someone to teach that, teach there at Weaver. And now what I'm hearing is that Buckley has a similar program, and we have found a teacher for that programming over there, while Weaver still is without a teacher for their media piece. So help me understand.
I may have misspoke. Weaver has a new media teacher this year. His name is James Brown.
Okay.
He's doing a great job. He's at Weaver.
Yeah, well, I think you misspoke when you said Buckley. I think you meant Weaver.
I may
Just
have.
want to make sure. No problem.
So Weaver has the insurance pathway with Vincent and Aquila, and they have James Brown is the new teacher, brand new teacher this year, teaching media technology. He's having a blast. He's doing great with it.
Copy. Understood. All right. My confusion. Thank you. I needed that cleared up for me. I didn't want to jump out the window.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see Board Chair Brody. So Board Member Wilson, are you all set? For now?
I'm fine. Yeah, I can tap in with Weaver to see how that's particularly going right now. So thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. All right, and Board Chair Brody, you have the floor.
Thank you for that information. My question would be, are we any better positioned than from a year ago in terms of us absent any contracts with anyone that we're able to carry on with this work?
Yes.
Good to hear.
So my firm belief with all of this is that we can provide career-connected learning to all high school students in Hartford ourselves. And Ready CT and other partners perform valuable work in supplementing that core instructional mission but it is up to Hartford Schools to provide the core instructional program, and Ready CT has a valuable role to play where they fit, but they are not a prerequisite to offering this curriculum.
And does that go along with us have made those valuable connections to the other opportunities outside the school with these businesses? I know that was something that
I'll just add in here, not yet. I will just be very truthful in not yet at the level with that students are currently experiencing in terms of those external opportunities that Mr. Cheney just mentioned that should be supplemental to the core instructional program. So much better, though, as he mentioned, than a year ago in terms of just building on great things that were already happening, but aligning it with the coursework that takes place in the school, and then those other activities being supplemental. Are we at the point yet that we have those direct connections with all of those entities? Not yet, but we are working on it for sure in terms of the businesses and other institutions that support the work.
but we have made progress.
Tremendous.
Definitely.
Tremendous, yes, in a number of ways.
In Weaver High School, I must say, I was a part of FBLA. I was a part of the business portion. I learned how to rate auto insurance policies by using the big books, and being a part of those core teachers with Miss Pruitt, Miss Oliver, and Miss Berry, that changed my life and shaped me as a young person and sent me into college. Thinking I wanted to be a business education teacher, but it's hard. You have to be a part of the business department and a part of the education department. It was a lot to try to manage, but when you're a part of those pathways and you belong in I felt I belonged to those teachers in that area. It changed my life. So I'm glad that we are better and we're getting to where we need to be. Good to hear.
Absolutely. That's what it all is for me, is about that connectedness to school. And you'll be glad to hear Ms. Franklin is taking the FBLA students to the state conference. I believe it's March 17th. So coming up soon. They're organizing for that right now. Thank you, everybody. I'm always available if I can answer any more questions about this.
I believe Board Member Wilson has an additional
sure.
question. Well,
Yeah, thank you. It's more of if there's any assistance that we can give in kind of fostering those partnerships with partnering with the businesses in the city, please let us know. I know that Weaver did have a partnership with I believe it was Travelers of the Hartford at one point in time. So if there's anything we can do to re-engage them, please let us know.
Yep. That partnership is still strong, but we're always looking for more for our as we expand to more schools.
Perfect. Thank you.
and yes, thank you, Will and Vanessa. And, and I think part of what Will was sharing was that, I think there was already good work that was occurring, but part of what they did this year was help school teams be more purposeful in terms of, if these are the courses you're offering, now we're going to take these courses and align them with what some of the career clusters are. So we might have been offering, but it might not necessarily have been as clear cut. So, what Will and Tracy did was actually help schools actually see the various pathways that they had in their buildings, which allowed us to create, add some, some additional courses and create these various career clusters. So, thank you, Will, and big shout out to Tracy as well for all the work you all have put into these career clusters. Thank you. So if there are no other questions, then we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. And I'm going to give just a quick overview about our dual language program at Dwight Belizzi. Unfortunately, our Director of Multilingual Department is unable to attend tonight. So I'll be just giving sort of like a quick overview. And I'll start with an update on Dwight Belizzi. This is their 5th year of implementation for their dual language program. We do have emerging bilingual classrooms in grades K through 2 for students being taught in their native language. So students at Dwight Belize's are taught in both English and Spanish. So that's the whole idea of the dual language program. The school emphasizes explicit instruction in foundational reading skills, including phonics, fluency, and phonological awareness. Teachers utilize data regularly to plan and drive their instruction. And Dwight Belize will be expanding the dual language program in the 26-27 school year to now include students in all grades, pre-K through 8. All students will now be following the dual language model. So students will receive instruction by certified bilingual teachers for Spanish component, as well as certified teachers for the English component. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. The other piece is, we are putting in an increased effort in our teacher recruitment. We're working on increasing our teacher diversity through our various recruitment efforts. Bilingual and TESOL teacher positions are shortage areas and harder to fill. So we currently have a $5,000 sign-on bonus to help recruit teachers in this shortage area. We're working in collaboration with the Office of Talent Management to expand recruiting and outreach efforts. We're also working on providing job-embedded professional learning and support for our new teachers. So once we actually get the teachers, how we can support and retain them. We're also providing assistance for our current teachers who would like to explore course endorsement. So whatever they're currently certified in, and getting a course endorsement in bilingual or TESOL. Next slide, please. So the last links assessment. So we're currently well on our way with our last links assessment. And, just to clarify, last links assessment is an assessment of students' English language proficiency. So how proficient the students are in English. Our goal is to have 96% of our students participate. We're currently close to the 90% mark. We're probably around 86%, but due to the weather and some of our closures, we're currently working on requesting an extension from the state, so we're able to meet our 96 or surpass our 96% participation rate. On the next slide, please. So, the seal of, by literacy, that is something I am excited about. And, from what Joanna had shared with me, who's our director of ML, our number of students who are eligible to even apply has grown exponentially from what it was previously. And for a student to be eligible for the seal of biliteracy, they have to show proficiency in a language other than English. So obviously the English requirements are met through students just meeting the graduation requirements. So if they're to take a foreign language and show proficiency in the foreign language, then they get the seal of biliteracy. We'll be having our Hartford Public Schools Seal of Biliteracy celebration on May 28th. So more information to come on that. Our students are currently taking, like I said, our students are currently taking the assessment, and our goal is to build on the progress from the last 2 years and exceed over 200 of our students receiving this certification. At this time, well, let me pause to see if there are any questions before we go on to our pre-K.
I don't see any hands up, so continue, please.
Thank you. At this time, I'll now like to invite our Director of Pre-K, Lori Minnick, to give us a brief update on our pre-K programs. Lori?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Dr. Ratley and Dr. Saki for allowing me to showcase our awesome programs that are happening in both our magnet schools and our neighborhood schools. So tonight, I'm going to give you a snapshot of our curriculum, which is in year 2, along with a day in pre-K. So come on, let's go. Next slide, please. So we selected pre-K on my way through a year-long process. And what we really liked about it was it's research-based, and it really drives the type of growth that we want our little ones to experience in literacy, math, and language. And they do this growth by doing 8 thematic units. So I gave you a quick look. Look at some of our typical themes that we're doing. We start the year with me and you, so we're learning all about ourselves, our families, our new friends. We launch into our community. Let's investigate, discover animals. The theme we're in right now is Healthy Me, where we're really learning about what kinds of foods do our bodies need to stay healthy? How can we grow our bodies to be big and strong, and taking care of ourselves and our family members? We go from there to Let's Create our Earth, and ready, set, go. We're ready to go into kindergarten or launch into pre-K 4 for the following year. Next theme, please. So what does this program do? It really builds the language skills through literature and vocabulary. And you can see vocabulary is a key piece of what we want to do for our pre-K students. We want to grow their vocabulary. And how do we do that? We are very intentional about the text that they read. We give them lots of opportunities to explore topics that they might not have had before and to learn new vocabulary words. Next slide, please. In math, they want us, this is their word that they're using called, we want them to be able to mathematize. We want them to make connections with the mathematical world within their own lives, within their school, within their family, and within their community. Some of the things that they might work on in math, their counting skills, spatial sense, measurements, and shapes. Next slide, please. We also want them to discover the joy of literacy together. So we really want to build their social emotional skills, their resiliency, their pride, their discussion skills, and of course, their play. It is pre-K after all. So we use 2 ways to get this. We do something called Mind Builders, which this really fosters them building those important skills. It also provides opportunities for them to have the conversations in their home or in their community. During small group, they are focusing on literacy activities that include phonological awareness, learning the letters and the letter sounds, print and book concepts, comprehension and content focus, and of course, writing, drawing, and storytelling. Next slide, please. Built into this program is an assessment and progress monitoring piece. There are weekly observational checklists that are all in the areas that are listed below that our teaching staff can use to assess where our children are going, what they might still need support in, what can we do to enrich their skills. Next slide, please. So as promised, here is a day in pre-K. Now we give our teaching staff a lot of flexibility into how they create the schedule. That being said, we also have some non-negotiables that we want to make sure that we have a robust program in every single school across our district. So on the left-hand side, you can see when it says block 1 and 2, those are our whole group instructional pieces. So they're getting 2 whole group instructional pieces where they're focusing on that rich vocabulary. They're answering questions. They're engaging in peer discussions, followed by usually 45 minutes to an hour of center time. Now, what is center? That's when they are using the materials in the classroom either independently or they might do it under the supervision of a teaching staff, say at the Arts Center. That is also when they're having small group instruction. Now, also built into our day, we want to make sure they are having a healthy breakfast and a healthy lunch in school, rest time where they rest their bodies to get ready for a very busy afternoon. And obviously, we focus on gross motor play. In inclement weather, obviously, we're inside, but most of the time, we try and go outside each day for 30 minutes. Next slide, please. So I have a district early childhood team that is comprised of myself, the lead teacher for early childhood, and an early childhood coach. And our work this year has really focused on getting out into those classrooms, seeing what's going on. So this is what we have been working on in the fall, and right now we're in our winter cycle. The three of us have been visiting every single classroom. That's 59 pre-K classrooms. In the fall, we went in, we had an environmental focus. We wanted to make sure, are the classrooms showing the materials that they need to be successful? Are they implementing that curriculum in the way that we want with the materials? Now, our winter cycle is we're looking at the instructional piece. So we want to know, are they following that curriculum with fidelity? Are there opportunities embedded in the instruction where students can engage in peer discussion? That's how they grow their conversational strategies. That's how they use the vocabulary that they've been learning about. And we also want to make sure that there are writing opportunities within each lesson, whether it's modeled by the teacher, shared with the students, or interactive writing. Now, what do? After we do these visits, we give every single teacher feedback, and we share that feedback with the admin in each building. We want to make sure that the teachers know what they were doing really well and what they still might need a little grow or support with. And then we target our coaching that's for those schools according to the feedback that we give them. Next slide, please. So when we went into the classroom, I'm going to share with you just some things we're looking at. So morning message is always a big part of pre-K because the morning message sets the stage for the day. So here you can see, and this is actually a paraprofessional who worked for me when I was in the classroom. So that morning message says, "Good morning, today is Thursday. How are we the same or different?" And that's really getting the kids ready, starting their thinking, their purpose for learning. Next slide. Whole group lesson. This would be during that block 1. You can see to your right, there are those vocabulary cards, and we want to make sure they're easily accessible to the teacher so she can refer to them. She might be reading a story, and all of a sudden that word hedgehog comes up again. She'll pull the card, and they'll review, what is a hedgehog? Where does it live? We also have puppets to engage the students in learning. You can see these are 3 puppets. Scout the squirrel, it always talks about language. Pablo the parrot talks about literacy. Lala the lizard is math. And Clifford the big red dog does social and emotional learning. It kind of clues the children into what kind of learning that is going to take place. Next slide, please. Opening circle, where we said this is where we start the learning. We want to make sure their prior knowledge is activated. We want to make sure there's a high level engagement by the students, either through song, movement, activity, or discussion. And we want to make sure that our little ones know they're getting that explicit vocabulary instruction that goes along with the text. Next slide, please. Story time. There is a large lesson card up in the right-hand corner. This is kind of like the playbook for the teachers, so to speak. They follow that. They always start with a guiding question, and the teacher unpacks it at the start of the lesson. As they're going through, she's building those vocabulary skills, maybe using those vocabulary cards again. At the end of it, there's always what we call a turn and talk. That's engaging students in peer discussion, letting them talk. What do you think happened in that story? And the lesson always ends with a writing lesson, either modeled, shared, or interactive. Next slide, please. Here's some examples of what you might see in learning centers. And so when we go into a classroom, we want to make sure, is the learning that's happening during center time connected back to the theme? Like, do we see it? Like when I walk into a classroom, I count how many centers are open, and then I count how many are in great alignment with the theme. If I see out of 7 centers, there are 7 activities directly aligned to Healthy Me, then I know that teacher is making great connections for her little ones. During center time, the teachers will move around, facilitating their learning, asking them questions. Next slide, please. Small group instruction is also taking place during that center time. Here you see a teacher, again, I think it's Marisol who's sitting there. She's going through the learning cards with 3 little friends while the rest of the children are rotating around in the learning centers. And during small group instruction, our teachers are taking data. They're making anecdotal notes to see, oh yes, little Lori, she might need a little extra help in understanding what those key vocabulary words are this week. Or my friend Jose, he got them all correct. Next slide, please. When we go into a room, we also look at what's on the wall. That we want to make sure that there are connections to what the students are doing, whether it's their writing, whether it's their artwork, to either the current theme or the previous theme. We also want to make sure that at least 50% of the material that is on the wall is student work. It's reflective of the work that they are doing each and every day. Next slide, please. We also have Foundations and Heggerty supporting our little ones' learning. Foundations, as you know, is making those letter and sound connections and letter formation. Heggerty is where they're building their phonemic awareness and phonological awareness skills. And those are both scripted programs that go along with getting our students ready for kindergarten, because our goal is every student ready for kindergarten. Next slide, please. So what are we doing as a department? So we are giving, obviously, our teaching staff some professional learning. So you can see just in the curriculum, we gave them a full day in August. We gave them a half day in November. We are also getting ready for the renewal of our NIAC accreditation. We have 7 neighborhood schools that are going to be submitting their accreditation papers by June 1st of this year. So we've been working on NIAC a little bit too, because we all need to be NIAC accredited. Our coaching support is ongoing. So our lead teacher for early childhood and our early childhood coach schedules visits on a regular basis with all our school readiness or our neighborhood schools. They also are supporting magnet schools. We have scholastic curriculum coaching for this second year as well. And we decided that our new hires and our second year teachers would really receive that curriculum support. And I think that is the last slide. So I'm going to stop. Dr. Saki, would you like me to answer any questions?
Are there any questions?
Hi, I have a question. Thank you so much for that presentation. That was very exciting, very engaging. One question I have is going back to the vocabulary piece with regards to like vegetables and fruits and things like that. Is there opportunity for, like, I wouldn't say opportunity, but is there that cultural competency piece where you include and invite children to talk about the vegetables and fruits that they may eat, you know, in their culture?
Absolutely. So an example of that might be a graphing opportunity. One of the rooms that I went to had probably 10 or 11 different fruits and vegetables up there, and some were, you know, culturally relevant to them. So the answer to that would be yes. I also saw examples of where the teaching staff is bringing realia in. So you might look at a fruit that might be native to Puerto Rico, say, and they would bring that in and talk about it with the children. They might sample it, they might taste it, they might smell it, they might touch it. So there are opportunities for that. And the one thing, thank you. The one thing that I didn't mention is I would like to invite all the board members, you know, please feel free to reach out to me. I love to shout out about our programs, whether they're in our neighborhood schools or our magnet schools. We would love to give you a tour. So that's an open invitation from pre-K.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And let's see, I'm trying to see if anyone else, oh, Board Member Tatum has his hand up. Board Member Tatum, you have the floor.
Just want to say that I appreciate the invitation. And as you were going through the themes and the different learning activities, I had the thought of like, man, I wish that I could be in some of these learning spaces, as an adult even. And that saying that all you ever really needed to know you learned in kindergarten, sounds like it applies to pre-K as well. So thanks for the overview. It was really engaging. And I'll be in touch to take you up on an offer.
Perfect. Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
thank
I have one more question. Thank you so much. Is there a component, with regards to foundations, integrity, or just with the curriculum, is there any type of information that you send home to parents so that parents can continue the learning or kind of help them with, reading to their children?
So I know we obviously all use Parent Square, and I know most of our teachers across the district, again, whether they're in neighborhood schools or magnet schools, they use that as a vehicle of communication. So I know they're sharing weekly newsletters about what's going home. They focus on topics that the children might be engaging in. They might talk about the letters that they're focusing on this week. So I know kind of that homeschool connection in pre-K, it's very active and it's very strong.
Thank you. And what assessment tool are you using for the pre-K children?
So our district assessments, I'll talk about that. We use the Dial 4 at the beginning of the year. That's given in September and May. And that really is a screener to identify students who might be having some developmental delays. So we do that at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, and we kind of track their progress. And that's tested over 3 areas. That's cognitive, language, and motor skills. We also use the pre-K screen, which is more a district test, which that really assesses students' alphabet knowledge. Can they identify uppercase letters, lowercase letters? Can they make those letter sound connections? So again, that is tested really. We do a baseline in September, followed by usually in the end of January, we might give it again, and then at the end of the year in May, so that we can track what their progress is. Also for progress monitoring, that's great for us to know, say at our January assessment, who are the little ones that are just flying? They know all their letters, they know all their sounds, they might be ready for some pre-reading skills, and compared with who are the ones that might be at the other end that are struggling a little bit and might need those higher tier interventions to be successful.
Thank you so much. And I have one more question. What do you use for conflict resolution type work? Like, I know you mentioned social emotional learning, but what do you use specifically for, like, say if children are disagreeing? What is there modeling that takes place?
Exactly. So we have to remember these are 3s and 4s, right? And they're learning. Some of them have never been out of the home. So obviously the month of September, we do a lot of building of those skills, how to be a friend, how do we treat our friends in the classroom? And obviously it is always modeling at our level, and then using, appropriate text that support their learning. Like we might talk about a storybook. What happens when someone takes a toy from you? What are some of the things? And again, talking them through that, and kind of building the skills that these little ones need to empower themselves to kind of handle their interpersonal like difficulties, let's say over a toy that they want and their friend isn't giving up. We build those skills. May I use the toy when you're done? May I have a turn next? So I would say that it's ongoing throughout the year, and it's a lot of front loading that first month of school.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's very exciting. I particularly love, the early childhood area. And I've seen you in action and, with Little Owls. And I know that you have another program over at Buckley, just kind of trying to give a little plug there, for the young ones. But thank you for all that you're doing. And I'm trying to see if we have any more hands up. I don't see any more hands up, so thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to shout out about how great our pre-K is. Thank you.
Thank you.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to see, is there another, I believe that is, oh, no, wait.
Yes, there's one more piece,
yes.
and then I'll be transitioning to another presentation. So we just have two more things to cover.
Okay.
And again, kudos to hearing Lori, Will, and Vanessa and their excitement and their speaking. Like you can feel that Lori is a pre-K person, right? And I've also had an opportunity to kind of see her in action, and it's absolutely fantastic. So if you're ever having a tough day, visiting Lori and the pre-K program will help kind of bring some of that stress down, because watching the little ones engage and learn is absolutely fantastic. And I remember, Lori, if I remember correctly, when we were doing a program, it was a Saturday program for parents, and you also gave us some very specific strategies parents can be using at home. So for example, when you're going grocery shopping, find something that's red, or find something with the letter A, right? So it's a very concrete. So I think part of what the teachers do is also share with parents some very concrete things that they can be doing just during their day-to-day living, of different ways that they can still be exposing children to letters, to colors, to numbers. So those are materials that are also shared with our pre-K parents. So again, thank you, Lori, for that presentation. Next slide, please. And this would be a very, very quick update. Our calendar committee, this is just a quick calendar committee update. Our calendar committee has been meeting. Currently on the committee, we have teachers, we have our HFT leadership, we have building and district administrators, and various stakeholders as part of the committee. This committee was put together to look at the 27, 28 and 28, 29 calendars. So, the goal is that hopefully in the next, I believe, month or two, we'll be bringing a draft to share with the Teaching and Learning Committee, as well as the committee of the whole, in terms of a draft proposal for a calendar. There are a few things that we're still sort of working through. Some of those items include, which kind of holidays should we be considering? What days, something as simple as what days professional learning lands on, sometimes increases, attendance on those days, and then how we can align our breaks with some of our surrounding districts. So those are a few of the different things that the calendar committee has been working on, but like I said, more information to come. And this would be bringing a formal presentation just on the proposed calendar for 27, 28, and 28, 29. So thank you. And I see there's a question. Okay, I thought Board Member Tatum had a question.
You answered it just then. Yep, I was wondering what years we were talking about.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, and I believe with no further questions, I'll say next slide, and I'll invite Dr. Avia Coburn to come and talk to us about college and career readiness. Dr. Coburn.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, to Board Chair Brody, Vice Chair Ledger, and to board members. We are very, very excited about our presentation tonight as we walk through the work that we've done in college and career readiness. You'll hear in our presentation about how we entered sort of the call to action of really thinking about the experience our students have in high school and as well as thinking about how we have set them up for preparation after they leave our schools. And so we'll talk through tonight, really focusing on the work that we have in place for our seniors and juniors, and then we'll walk you through what's coming next for the remainder of the year as we really hone in and focus on our 9th and 10th grade. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Director Cuevas to give an overview of our visioning and our strategy for the department.
Thank you, Dr. Coburn. Good evening, Chair and members of the committee. This evening, I will provide a brief update on our district senior success strategy and how we are ensuring that every senior that graduates this year will have a clear and viable post-secondary pathway. As part of our strategic commitment, we have begun our work to ensure that our high school have coherence across all the high schools in the district. We want to make sure that there's a structure to monitor every senior in conjunction with working with our school counselors and our principal. As part of our strategic plan alignment, it aligns with the Hartford Public strategic priorities, which is to increase our graduation outcome, strengthen our post-secondary readiness, and advance equity through our structure accountability. And of course, our core belief is to ensure that all of our seniors are not invisible in our system and that we truly understand their needs and how to guide them through this process. Next slide, please. As part of our implementation this year, we have, we have established structured meetings with our principals at every high school and our school counseling team. These meetings focus on our student level credit audits to ensure their students have what they need and meet their graduation requirements. We are also monitoring the attendance. We are also identifying our students who might be at risk to ensure that there's a plan to address their needs. At the school level, we continue to have weekly senior tracking meetings to ensure that any interventions are in place and to ensure that if there's any credit audits and any recovery plans, again, are followed to ensure that our seniors are on track for graduation. Again, our part of our monitoring, we're tracking our seniors, make sure they're not off track, and the alternative pathways also is part of the monitoring. Next slide, please.
And if I can add while we are transitioning, one of the things that I want to lift up when we think about those meetings, at some schools, they are set up for 4 meetings. That's us really looking at the data and thinking about our high schools that really need to have a deeper lens. But at minimum, most of our high schools have had 3 touch points. One in the beginning of the year where we set the tone and our visioning for what we were looking to accomplish, making sure that all of our seniors had a post-secondary plan, so that at the beginning of the year, we understood what our seniors needed, the number of students who were interested in a 4-year, 2-year college and, military or a career. Our second meeting, which we just had with all of our high schools, was really focused on, again, getting down to each individual senior to figure out where they are on track and what they needed for support. And so we used grade data to see about if we needed to enhance wraparound supports. And that's something that we're really excited about because it was all done with our staff. And so a big shout out to all of the high school principals, because I will say for those meetings, they had the full team there. It was the principal, assistant principal, the counselors, and all of our team for college and career readiness. And so that's really important to lift up just the work that has been done. So I didn't want that to be amiss. I'll turn it back over to Director Cuevas.
Thank you, Dr. Coburn. Yes, and also as part of that work, our administrators and our assistant principals have really ensured that these weekly meetings are happening and they are focused to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our seniors. This slide is we have a chance to look at a quick snapshot of where we are with our seniors. At this point, we have over 455 seniors who have completed their FAFSA. We have about 430 seniors who have submitted at least one 4-year application. We have about 183 students who have submitted at least 1-year, 2-year application. We have 79 seniors pursuing trade programs. We have 29 seniors who are interested in the military, and we have 107 seniors that are interested in entering the workforce right after graduation. Next slide, please. I also want to highlight before we get into some of the wins that this year, district-wide, we had 99% of our seniors who have identified a post-secondary plan. And this is an increase from last year, 74%. Also, in our comprehensive schools, we saw a 44 percentage point increase in completing their 4-year applications. And of course, our 2-year application has also increased from last year, 13% to 97% this year. And this is at our comprehensive. And then this slide, I want to share some of the work that has happened in conjunction in the fall in conjunction with Executive Director Janelle Coburn, Janelle, where we have Raising the Bar application support. We supported over 200 seniors across our comprehensives with their 2-year and 4-year applications, our trade schools applications, our college essay development, our common application. I'm so sorry.
I can step in. And so we had our college essay and common app application support. And this partnership, again, was with Director Janelle Hooker. And so we're really excited about that. And so in continuing with that support, we also are partnering with them. And this is something that we're really, really excited about, where we are doing a Raise the Bar Career Fair March 10th. And so one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we were able to do was for those students who said, I want to go into the workforce, that early on in March, we gave them an opportunity to practice interviewing skills, to go in to look at some of those careers. And so we're really excited. It's March 10th. And so we have over 150 students who will be participating. They'll be able to network with hiring managers, resume interview support. And so again, we are really, really, really excited about this. I think in the past, we really focused on the college fairs. And so this career fair is going to be something that we know the students are going to enjoy. Next slide. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention quickly also as part of our juniors this year, we have the city has funded to provide transportation for our juniors to attend the New England College Fair that happens annually. So that would be across all the high schools. We'll have all of the high schools participating in this college fair in March. So again, in closing, we're very excited about this work. We really have taken the time to meet with not just our principals and administrators, but our school counseling, ensuring that we have an understanding of our students' barriers, what gets in their way, with our families, our FAFSA, to ensure that we provide any support that we can to ensure that they are filling out these applications and that they understand the process of the post-secondary work. Thank you.
Any questions for us?
I don't see any hands. I see hearts, so that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Lots of information. Great work, great presentation. And we're just looking forward and, in the continuation of the implementation of this curriculum, of, this track, which is a great plan.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. And Dr. Saki, Are we all set? Do we have some more information, great information that you'd like to share?
Yes, I would say yes. That was the that was the end of the presentation for tonight. Those were the items that we wanted to cover. So again, thank you for the opportunity to have the teaching and learning team share some information and some updates, as well as Dr. Coburn and her team sharing some updates with us as well. So if there are no further questions, then we are good here.
Thank you so much. And that concludes our meeting. So everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You as well.